drained all the oils, and obviously the flipping sump plug was seized, typical TD5. So a bit of welding and bolt action, and then she's off. So I'll get that dropped down now and I'll split it, gearbox off, transfer box off. So I'll get them outside and pressure wash now. Pressure wash the engine and the gearbox and the transfer, and I pressure wash the rear axles, both axles as well, but the rear one had no oil in it whatsoever, so that's not a good sign. And also transfer box only had about, well, not even 500 mil in it. Anyway, get them all stripped down. I think I'll start with the engine, get that on the engine stand and get the head off and get it in bits. So that's totally stripped down now, just got to get the oil squirters off. But to be honest with you, I think it's been rebuilt quite recently, because I think it's had a full set of shells in it, mains and big end bearings, because these are all marked up as well. They look in really good condition, all the pistons and all the bearings and the crank does. My idea is to possibly get some forged conrods made for it and use the standard pistons, just because they've got the swirl combustion chamber and the piston crowns. I think they'll be alright with the standard pistons. They're a bit of a weak point, they're quite soft, the conrods on a TD5. I've done quite a few where they've had bent conrods, but that's probably through hydrolocking when they took water in and that, so it's going to bend any conrod, I suppose. So that's the idea. Crank's good to go anyway, so obviously when I get all the new shells in it, I'll do the plastic gauge and make sure all the tolerances are right. and I'll probably definitely get a new set of piston rings and gap them, just to allow for a little bit more expansion, running more boost. But the block looks good as well. I've got to clean it all down and recheck it all and everything, but yeah, I think it's not too bad, that, so I'm quite chuffed with that. For 186,000 miles anyway, on a 10p. Happy days, mate. So I'll just box them up for the time being. I'll box the crank up and that. Got to clean all the water galleries out on that, decide what I'm doing about the cement fill. Obviously got to do the head as well, bit of work on that. That's just a pile of all the engine bits, so I've got to get all them in the parts cleaner and dribs and drabs, get them cleaned up. And then still got the transfer box and the gearbox to contend to. Don't know what I'm doing about the R380 yet. They're not very strong. I know you can do the bearings, put oversized, them two bearings, the oversized ones you can do, but it's a weak point, so I don't know whether I put a straight cut gear set in it yet or not. I'm going to strip it down anyway first. So I've got to do the engine mounts and the gearbox mounts, convert them from Puma to TD5. With the TD5, they come a bit more forward and this one's different. And then one of them's slightly different and the other one's quite a lot different. So I've got the old chassis. So I'm just going to cut them off and cut them off, and I'll know where they are, do all the measurements, and then get the ones that I need to use off there on here and weld them all up. There's one. Another one. Just got the gearbox ones to do now. So that's them all off now. That one's off there. That one's off there. Actually, it's that way. And the two front ones as well. So what I'll do now is I'll cut all the other ones off here and smooth it off. I mean, I could use that one and that one, but they are slightly different, so I might as well use the TD5 one. So I'll cut all these off and then I'll smooth it all off. This one's so close, this one, it only needs going over there by about an inch, which is a shame, but yeah. So I'll get on with that first. He goes. So I'll get this other one off. Another one off. Clean that up. I'll get them two off now. So I've chopped all the mounts off now, both the engine mounts, both the gearbox mounts. That one was a bit awkward. I've just gone over with a bit of etch primer, smoothed it all off with a disc and that. Just gone over with etch primer, and then just going to go over with this zinc and aluminium spray. Got all that gal sprayed up, and then I've got all these mounts ground down ready for welding on. So all the edges are all good, so I can use that one still as a template, and then I can get them welded on the other one. So I've marked up on the chassis where the mounts are going to live. So these are off the TD5, so that's marked up there. I mean, if you look at it, it's only about 1/4 of an inch just off these holes here. It's the same on the other side as well. So it's a good little point to go off. So so that's quite easy that. Whereas on the Puma, they're a good 4 inches further back where they were originally, and they had a little stanchion off there. So that's the difference in them. Then the gearbox mounts, I've marked them off as well. So I'll just mark them. So they're going to be living there. I've measured them off the other chassis. And then on the other side, I've marked that deep one off there as well, off the TD5 chassis. So just going to grind the galv back with the disc, just so I can get a decent weld on it and reduce them poisonous gases a little bit. So I'll get them ground back and then I'll tack them on in position then. You can always tell when it's gone through the galv because it starts sparking. So I've gone through all galv on them. So I'll get them tacked on now. They're all tacked on now. Both the gearbox mounts and the engine mounts. So I'm just going to have a double check with the measurements and then do a full weld on them. One done. Get with the other one now. It's 2 done. We'll get onto these now. Just finishing that one off. And they've run out of wire. So I'll go and get some wire. So they're all welded on now. So I'm just going to get a bit of etch primer and then some galv spray on them. So I'll get that sorted. So that's the etch primer on him. Let that go off and then I'll get some of the galv spray on. So that's it, sprayed them all with galv spray. Doesn't look too bad then. Should do me nicely that. Just let that go off. And then that's it, job's a good one. So that's pretty much it for this one. So thanks for watching, I'll catch you on the next one.